Welcome to Our Voices on the Yard, where Black artistic excellence meets everyday life. I'm your host, Denise Woods. Join me as we explore and celebrate the achievements of the Black artists that attended conservatories and fine arts programs from around the world, starting with my alma mater, the Juilliard School. Hi, this is Denise Woods, and this is Our Voices on the Yard. Welcome back to part 2 of the wonderful, unique interview with Malik Williams. Last week, this wonderful man, this wonderful dancer, just revealed so many pertinent aspects of what it was like to be a dancer at the Juilliard School. He was vulnerable. He was passionate. He was open. He was revealing. He's going to go even further today. So, join us. I just need to ask, where did that start? You said you need to build yourself back up. How do you start? You're at rock bottom. How do you start? Where did you start? Where did you start? Did your family know you were going through this?
Yes, and that's the only reason why I made it through.
Yeah.
My grandmother, who's very, very dear to my heart.
I know that.
She has been my biggest cheerleader. She has been my biggest supporter. She has been that person in the corner of the ring for me the entire time I've been alive, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew everything was going on. I was, constantly letting her know. And, she would still just say what she's saying, try to instill that confidence and that self-worth that she has been trying to do ever since I was born. She was still trying to do that, while I was being knocked down every single day. And I remember, because there was, that happened right before summer. I went home and, told her everything. And she was just like, Malik, it's breaking my heart to see you become a shell of who you were because of these random people who, because they work at this school and it's this school with such prestige that you have, and you can't see it because it's podcast, I'm putting quotations, you have to listen to them. And I just remember crying and her holding me and just saying, you are enough.
Mm-hmm.
You have always been enough. And you always will be enough. In that, as long as I'm doing my best, that's all anyone can ask for. And if they're asking for more, that's their problem and not my own.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my grandmother and my mom and the people in my family who I am very close with who supported me. But I think the biggest part was reaching out to the Black alum of the dance division.
Wow.
I remember the beginning of that senior year, I went into the office of someone that I trusted who wasn't in the dance division. She was just in admissions and not a part of the actual division, and was basically telling her everything that I'm telling you. And she just looked at me and she said, I'm going to give you a list of Black alums, dance alums, and I'm going to reach out to them, but I want you to reach out to them and talk to them. And I hope that's going to help. And she just kind of left it there and was just she sent me the list and she was like, reach out to them. And it literally changed my life. It literally saved me. I reached out to all of them on that list. 2 of them became my mentors. And I just remember telling them things that my director told me. And they said, Malik, none of this is about you, because he said the same exact words to me when I was in school.
Whoa.
He said to me, if I did ballet correctly, my legs would look different, or, you know, I should like aspire to look more like X, Y, and Z. You know, that you're a disappointment. You're not reaching the goals that we have for you. And speaking with them and hearing that, I think was the thing that I needed to finally be able to look at the school more objectively, which is difficult because I'm in it and I'm living in it and experiencing it. But I'm talking to people who've been through it, who are looking back on their experience, and now they're talking to someone who is literally having that same experience. And they're like, Malik, I know it's rough, I know it's tough, and I know it's hard, but you have to realize that this is not about you personally. This is not about you as a dancer. It's about simply the fact that you are a Black dancer, and the school is not made to train Black dancers. It is not made to make us the best dancers that we can be.
That's an interesting statement, Malik, because I just have to interject here that the dance division is now headed by an African-American woman.
Yes.
Yes. Her name is Alicia Graff. And I think she is going perhaps into her 4th year as the head of the dance division at Juilliard. So I think it's a huge step in the right direction to sort of heal a lot of those discrepancies that students of color, particularly of African descent, have felt for years. And it saddens me. And when I talk to students in the drama division, you know, I was at Juilliard in the 70s, and to hear you talk about it, it's like, we are still having this fucking conversation? Really?
Yeah.
We are really still having this conversation, and we will have it until we level the playing field, until that you can see our bodies and our voices and embrace them, you know, with love and respect. And really in an effort to decolonize art and the Eurocentric paradigm of what art is. And that's the reason for our voices on the yard, because I think we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we really are, you know, and when you hear our stories, when you hear our pain, and when you hear our triumphs, you can't help but applaud the efforts of the folks that came before you, because God bless those dancers and your grandma, you know, that came and they saw you. That's all you wanted to. You want to be seen. See me, hear me, embrace me. Don't say, but you don't have what they have. You know, I think that's what Misty Copeland was saying for years. Her body does not look like the little girls from ABT. It's just not. Doesn't make her less of a dancer. Doesn't make her less of a ballerina. You know, and I think these conversations are so constructive, because we have to have these uncomfortable conversations so that we can deconstruct. You know, we can deconstruct it and then reconstruct it, because now I want to know what the transition was from Juilliard, because you've got your B.F.A. in hand. Like, you stuck it out. Do you know how many people would have said, I'm out of here? And you stuck it out. You've got your B.F.A. in hand, your degree in hand. and you are now with one of the most prestigious dance companies in the nation. What was that transition like? Let's talk about from, did you walk, were you at graduation? Did you walk across the stage?
I did.
How did that feel?
It felt surreal. I made it somehow, like, regardless of all of the bullshit that was thrown at me and all of the crap that I had to deal with that everyone else didn't have to deal with because of the color of their skin. But I made it, and my mom and my grandma were there in the audience.
They were.
And they did. They were. My whole family came up, but we were only allowed 2 tickets. So my mom and my grandma were the 2 who came to watch me. And honestly, like, I was feeling so much joy when I got my degree that I was like this close to just like dropping it low and like twerking and like being like, I made it. Like, you do not understand. I was so close. I just wanted to just like prance across that stage, leaping, turning, flipping, just like yelling, because I made it. I made it, and I was still me at some level. And it just was like to see, and like my mom and my grandmother watched me go through it, watched me become a shell of who I was, watch me hit rock bottom. To see them see me being like making it and being so happy, like I looked at them and just, it meant so much to me as well to be like, I made it, but I made it because of you, because of the support I had at home. And this is just as much my victory as yours. And I wanted to share that with them because we did it together. Like, this is, you know, yes, I was the one who was doing it, but like, you know what they say, it takes a village.
Totally.
And it definitely did.
I so applaud you. I so applaud you because it really took a village. And I saw that when I met you 5 years ago. I saw that you had angels camped out around you, living ones, ancestor ones, ones that had gone on before. There was truly a presence of something spiritual saying, no, we have something in store for this young man. He will not be taken out, because a lot of artists are taken out either by drugs, depression, suicide. You know, it can be difficult. It can be very, very difficult at this level. And I'm just so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to hear your story. I'm so grateful that you're sharing it with us, because, you know, if we can impress upon someone out there who's struggling with similar issues, you know, we can impress that, you know, if you hang in there, find a mentor, find a community, find your tribe, go to your family, even if you've been ostracized by your family because they wanted a doctor and you ended up being an artist, you know, and so they've put you out, or, you know, they're staunch Pentecostal Christian and you say, well, I'm gay, you know, and they've ostracized you, then find a tribe that can support you during these times, because, you know, things are evolving. We are evolving. We are evolving as a world. I think that this pandemic is perhaps the best thing that could have had us to sit our asses down for 2 years, get a grip on the world, you know, and so the ability to come and share is just enlightening me, and I'm sure it's enlightening the audience. Thank you. We're not ending. I want to know how. No, you haven't gotten rid of me yet. We are not finished. I want to know what those early years were like when you got out of Juilliard, babe. Because how do you become a professional dancer? How do you get out in the real world, take that B.F.A. and deal with rejection when you go into these auditions? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was auditioning a lot through senior year. And like any artist knows that you're going to hear no a lot more than you're going to hear yes. And that's just the reality of it. But I felt like who I am as a person. I don't like to be like pigeonholed into one box. So like our school at the time, it's very different now, but at the time was like pushing for you to have a very specific track or a very specific career. They wanted you to go to Europe and dance in Europe or like dance in a company. And like, that was what you did. And that's what we trained you for. But I was going to auditions and I was like, that would be amazing. And I mean, I'm doing it now, but like, could I do other things? Like, what's stopping me from being on Broadway, or what's stopping me for auditioning for a music video or X, Y, and Z? And I felt like, especially like the first few years after I graduated, because I was so open to trying anything and everything, that I ended up having a lot of work. And yes, it wasn't necessarily always concert dance, but like I was dancing, I was enjoying myself, I was making money, which is very important. And it just, like, I look back and like some of the things that I did right, like I danced with Limón for a year.
What? Wait, say
yes,
that
I was
again.
an apprentice.
Say that again, because people who don't know the Limón Company, can you tell us what that is?
Yes, it's so the Limón Dance Company was created by José Limón, which was one of like the big modern dancers of their era. It was like Martha Graham, Merce Cunningham, José Limón. He was one of them, and he made this company, which was, you know, based with his movement, the Limón technique. And we had a little bit of that in school. We also did a piece of his called Misa Brevis. And I remember doing that piece and being like, ooh, I really like this movement. I've never done like Limón technique, but now I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, this feels nice. And so they had auditions and I went, and I think it was the day before I was supposed to go to Montreal for like a summer intensive. And I got the call that they wanted to offer me an apprenticeship. And I was like, yes. Is this happening? Yes.
Wow.
And like, at the time I didn't have a job. So like, I was going to go to Montreal and I was like, I'm going to be auditioning. I'm going to get a job. I am going to make this work. And like, right before I left, it was like, so you have a job. Do you want it? And I was like, again, another moment where I had a plan and I was so ready to stick to that plan. And then they were like, just kidding. Swerve. Threw me a curveball. So then, yeah, I ended up taking it. And so like that first year I danced with the Limón Company.
That's huge. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a great learning experience. And I was, you know, I loved the movement. I loved the people I was dancing with. It was a great time. But as I was an apprentice, there were certain weeks I wasn't working.
Sure. And
that August, or maybe it was July, I got a call from an audition that I did that I was put on the wait list for. I got a call that someone dropped out and they wanted to know if I wanted to do it. And the weeks that I had off with Limón, like, perfectly fit the weeks of this other job, which was Radio City Christmas Spectacular.
What?
Yes.
Great.
So yeah, so like in the middle of like that Limón dancing, for like that Christmas season, I literally did the ensemble of the Radio City Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes, which was again one of those auditions. I was like, why not? I'm auditioning for everything. It would be cool. And then it like,
this really sounds like sound business advice. It sounds like, you know, the business, instinctively, the businessman in you, because that's the one thing that I felt when I came out of Juilliard in 79, that I didn't know anything about business. I knew nothing about finances. I knew nothing about the hustle and the grind of being an entrepreneur, a business. And the business just happens to be you, your body. You know, that's the business. And you're the CEO of the business. And it just seems to me that somewhere in your DNA, there was a businessman in there that took his degree and said, hey, I know you want me to go in this direction, Juilliard, but I got to eat. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah. And I think part of that, again, was instilled in me from my grandmother and my mother.
Yes.
You know, my mom's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother is a therapist. And they were like, you know what? If you want to dance, go for it. You know, put your all into it. But also know you have other options. Also know, like, even your dance career doesn't have to be this straight line or this very, very like narrow path. You know, it's only as small as you make it. So why not make it as big as you can?
Wow.
And so that's how I looked at auditioning. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's just like, that's how I viewed auditions. I was like, well, why not? Like, what's like the worst that's going to happen? No, I've already heard that 300 times. So like, what's another no going to do, you know? And, but like through that, it has helped me do all these different things, you know, do Radio City, but also do Limón and also do a movie and now doing Mark Morris. And like that mindset has helped me become more of who I am, because I'm also, like I said earlier, I don't want to be held in the box. I don't want to just do one thing and just like, that's it. Like, I want to experience all that I can experience, especially since a dancer's lifespan is shorter than other careers. It's like, well, I want to get everything I can out of it. I trained how many years? I went to this institution that broke me down. Like, I didn't do all that for nothing. I want to enjoy life. I want to dance with many different types of people. I want to dance with many different types of industries. I want to, I just, you know, I don't know. I'm someone who wants to live it. I want to live life. And it's because of my grandparents and my mom.
Yeah.
They always told me to dream big. They always told me, again, you only fail if you don't try. And I feel like that I really lived that to the core, or I tried to. And so I just, you know, leaving school, I feel more authority to like ask for things and for try new things and, you know, like reach out, do where I met you. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I'm a dancer. I was literally walking in there being like, I don't know what's going to happen. These people are going to be like, who is this boy? Like, he's not an actor. And I'm just like, I just want to be here. I want to learn. I want to have this experience. And look where, you know, now I'm like speaking with you. And I would never have thought this would have been part of my life if I didn't, I didn't just say, well, why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Brittany invited me to it. She said, you are welcome to be here. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to experience it. And whatever it is, it's going to be. And it was one of the best experiences of my life, especially in my Juilliard career.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. It was special. And as I said at the beginning, you left an indelible impression on everybody in the room because nobody knew you. It was this dancer that walked in the room and could identify with everything that we were saying as actors in the room because, we're artists. I tell we're storytellers, and how dare you tell me that the way I tell my story, or what you can do is you can add to the way I tell my story. You just don't have permission to say that the way I tell my story is wrong. That's the bottom line. Don't tell me that the way I tell my story or my interpretation of your story is wrong. And you do it through dance, through your body, your voice, singers, through your fingers if you're a pianist. And basically what we're saying is that our voices matter, and your body is beautiful. Don't compare me to someone else's body. Embrace this one and show me how I can make this these legs, the best legs that they can possibly be. Malik, you are just incredible. I can't wait for the day to hire you as an actor. Because you are not just a dancer, because you're taking singing lessons. You're singing. Okay, I'm just going to share. He said to me, Denise, I need to be able to sing because I'm going to do a Broadway show and I need to be a triple threat. And so he's in singing lessons and was hoping that this podcast wouldn't interfere with his singing lessons. And that's what artists do. You open up the possibilities. And that's something that your grandmother and your mother taught you well, my brother. I'm just so happy that our paths have crossed. If there's something in addition to what you've already said, because, what's another no? Nothing beats a failure but a try. All of these wonderful gems that you were dropping for young artists out there who are so petrified and allow their egos to get in the way of doing the best work or just going into an audition because you went into the audition and then you got put on the wait list for the show at Radio City. And someone dropped out and boom, you came in at the right perfect time that you weren't working with the Limón Company. It's like so ordered. It's just so structured. The universe, God has all of these wonderful ways of structuring our lives. If we just get out of the way. Yeah. And then, but see what we then have to do is then we have to get tools to handle life on life's terms. And that's when you said therapy, my heart just like leapt for joy because, you need to talk to someone who gets you, someone who, has a wonderful way of giving you tools, that maybe your mother doesn't have, maybe your tribe doesn't have, but a professional has tools that you can say, do this, 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 and this. A coach, a life coach. Mm-hmm. What would you say if there's one thing that you can say to the audience and to your younger self? What would it be? If you could look back and say to younger Malik, what would it be?
I feel like this might sound a little cliche, but if there was one thing I could tell my younger self, or just anyone, it would be, you are enough.
Ooh.
What my grandma told me, you always have been enough. You will continue to be enough. And no one can take that away from you. And if someone says that you're not enough, that has more to say about them than it actually does about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I got stuck a lot of times, was taking on that burden of being like, they said I'm not enough, so I have to fix it somehow. I need to be enough for them. When that is not the answer. And I think if I knew that and internalized that at that young age, which is very, very difficult, but I feel like I would have had a better journey through school, because then my self-worth wouldn't have been based on someone else's opinion of me.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said, sweetheart. Congratulations on the Mark Morris. Is it Mark? Yeah, Mark Morris Dance Group. That's huge. How old are you now?
I am 27.
That's wonderful, sweetheart. You're in the prime. This is prime time, and you are part of a wonderful dance company. You can pay your bills, put a little money in the bank, saving.
Yes.
You know, you have enough money to take a singing class. You are blessed, and thank you for being such a blessing to us. I really do want you to come back to the studio when your company comes to Los Angeles in October.
I would love that.
It would be nice to sort of be in studio with you to get a part 2 of this conversation, because there's a lot of stuff that I still want to unpack. And I want to unpack it, you know, I want to unpack the other side of darkness, you know, the other side when you really crept up from the depths of depression and you started seeing the light. I know that your family and the mentors were helpful, but I really want to know that first moment that you said, I'm going to be okay. So we're going to save that. We're going to save that for part 2 when we're face to face. When you knew I'm going to be okay. Yeah. I'm going to be all right. Yeah. And look at you now. It's like, how you like me now? Thank you, Malik. Yes. I'm so proud of you. I am so honored to know you. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you. I am so honored. And thank you for allowing me to just share myself and share my story.
You know why? Because I see you. I see you. And that's all we ever ask, is to be seen and to be heard. And so I thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. I hope you've learned something. I hope you feel enlightened. I hope you feel lighter than you did before you entered. Subscribe and leave us a review. Tell us what you liked. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Tell us who you'd want to see. This is Denise Woods saying, see you next time.